life that I felt like I don't need to hold on to something or yeah, exactly. Do you feel the same way? Do you have
Yeah,
this?
absolutely. As of literally the last 24 hours. And I have everything that if I, in the old way of seeing the world and dealing, I have everything to go into overload and trauma and fear and I'm not good enough and oh my God, the money isn't coming in because we're literally at this moment nothing is coming in and there's
Mhm.
no way I can pay my bills. Yet there's not this numbing of calmness. There's just a calmness that everything is unfolding exactly the way it is.
Mm.
And so it's a trust factor in the universal divine flow of things, which I've never really had before. Like I've been taking down to ground zero, right? Okay, now everything in your playpen has been
Mhm.
taken away. So now you got a barren playpen. What are you going to do? Are you going to run around and try and find all the toys on your own and try and make it all work? Or are you going to surrender and see what is delivered to you through the divine flow? So
Yeah,
one
I
part
don't.
of me is going, whoa, another part
Yeah.
is okay with it. And actually, there's no more like this anymore. It's just, okay, this is what it's going to be. Let's see how it unfolds, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, yeah, let's not use said word. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
unusual.
It's an interesting way to live now because yeah, and I was just like, I know the time when it happened, like I know when it started where I was just like everything was peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like having to fight with anything anymore. I just kind of
Well, this is getting scary. I mean,
left.
I'm teasing you, but it's scary because you and I are so much on the same page.
Yeah.
I just came to this less than 24 hours ago, and
Mhm.
here you are coming to the same thing, which
Uh-oh.
is one thing I want to talk about. When we're talking about multiple souls, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the same body. We can be multiple souls, a part of an oversoul.
Mhm.
So if you're part of an oversoul, so let's just say Laura and I are from the same oversoul, right?
Mhm.
And so if that's the case, when I get it, Laura gets it. Or when Laura gets it, I get it. And in fact, everybody in that oversoul gets it. That's the beauty of the cooperation that comes when souls work together, whether it's on the other dimension and we incarnate in different bodies and have that experience, or whether we incarnate into the same body and have that experience. The multiplier effect is really amazing because when one person get it, everybody in that oversoul gets it. It's like the 100th monkey,
Mhm.
right? The
Mhm.
story of the 100th monkey. So that's exciting. And the other thing is you can't get an ego attached to it, right? Because it didn't come from you. It came from the universe, or it came through osmosis, or it came through an aha, or came through a serendipity, or it came through, synchronicity. It's not something that you can say, oh, well, my ego figured that out. Oh, I was so smart. It had nothing to do
So,
with being smart.
um, tell me, do you sleep through the night typically?
Absolutely.
Always?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. That
Sometimes on the full moon, or on a lunar eclipse or something like that, I may be woken up, uh, which I enjoy because I want to see the full moon. My bedroom's set up where I have a sliding glass door, so the moon literally comes in the room. I love the moon and the full moon. So waking up with the full moon and the whole place lit up and looking outside is really something powerful for me.
hmm.
But no, well, Sarah's not sleeping at all, or not very well, right? Uh,
Has she had the same epiphany?
I don't think so. I think her struggle is
Not
different,
there
right?
yet. Okay. I'm
Her-
only asking because that's one of the things that I've noticed, and it's not that I'm sleeping through the night, like per se, because will like wake up and like turn or whatever, but there's no more of that, like, did I hear something? What was that? You know what I'm saying? There's like
oh, well, wait a
that
minute, wait a
peace.
minute. Yeah, I get what you said. Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Sarah said, last night I had no more monkey brain. I had no more thoughts in my head. Even though I wasn't asleep, I wasn't processing things. Whereas before, She was always processing, oh, I got to get up and do the cherries, or I have to do this, or I have to do that, or oh my God, I didn't water the garden properly, or whatever. There's 1,000 things going on. She said it's all of a sudden gone silent,
That's what I'm saying.
right? So
Yeah.
even though she's awake or not fully asleep, what we call asleep, and part of the other thing is she's reading a book about the planetary, about the lady's life, right? And it's like this book, and I think part of the reason she doesn't sleep is she wants to get up and read the book, because
Oh,
it's a really amazing experience. But before the book, she was having problems as well. But yeah, the monkey mind stopped. It's like somebody just turned it off. So if you're out there and your monkey mind's going crazy, or you got voices in your head and they just won't shut up, right? And I know a lot of my clients are having this problem. But think of it, as the Earth's energy rises up, right, then all of the trapped energy that's below that is going to start coming out of the Earth. All the trauma, unresolved conflict, which are really, spirits, disembodied, disincarnate beings that were, through curses and through all sorts of, like the shock of death. They don't know that they're actually dead. They're all locked into Earth and in the Earth grid, where the battlefield was or where the trauma happened. And as a vibration of the Earth rises up, they are free. So there's like millions, trillions of souls looking for their way back to the light. And if you happen to be on the same vibrational frequency as them, they're looking at you, and you have light, which is similar to theirs. They're gonna, oh,
right.
there's a human body that I can have an experience in, right?
Yep.
Because they don't know that they're dead, and they don't know their way back.
Well,
So
let me share this with you too. I've been manifesting, like, well, this just happened to you. See, this has been going on with me for probably about a week now, maybe a little bit longer. So I'm starting to really notice all these things that are happening. And
mhm,
yesterday I said, I'm going to bring people in and have more guests in my house.
mhm.
And yesterday, like, it kept happening and kept happening. And I was like, oh, wow, this is insane. This is great, right? It's like already happening. And it's just like one thought.
Well, we certainly are having more guests here, that's for sure. And yeah, things are pretty exciting.
I would manifest, Tyson.
Yeah, I think I'm still letting things go. And we're still, that just doesn't mean you can't manifest at the same
Yeah.
time. But it's like quicksand, just seeing things go, and that's great. And we're about to do a massive cleanup in the cottage, and that's a good example of the person there just absolutely went ballistic and went through the roof, and we're the worst landlords, and going to report you to the Tenancy Act because you didn't do this and you didn't do that, and blah 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 blah. And Sarah got a full load of this and came back. She was in tears, and I just knew that it would all sort its way out, right? So I said nothing. I believe that people include or exclude themselves. So within 3 or 4 hours, she's coming back to us saying, I apologize for doing that. I really, really love you, and I'm trying to work through all this stuff.
It's
So
that
what I'm trying to say with this
coming
is
out.
people can be really get over the top with their emotions and just go ballistic because they're under so much pressure, like a pressure cooker. And the thing to be important with them realizing with this is not to take it personally.
Right.
That person needs to depressurize, and if we can hold them at that oversoul level of who they be, or that soul level,
Mm-hmm.
you know that they're good people. You just know that they're going through a crisis. They're coming off their own addictions. And you hold them there, they will find their way back, and the apology happens. You didn't go ballistic. You didn't, go ballistic
Fall
with
into
them.
the trap. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get trapped in the whole thing. And I'm finding more and more of that happening in my life, where even lawsuits and people going crazy that I did this or did that, or I'm most the most bad, rottenest, mean, cruelest guy on the planet, and we're going to take you to court. All of that resolves too, right? Without getting, first, I have to tell you, first of all, I got really upset, because I wanted to own all those things that maybe he was absolutely right, that I was the worst son of a bitch on the planet, right? So I had to get through all that. So again, this is a trap of my own weakness, my own inability to love myself unconditionally. He just pushed all my buttons. until I could get to the point of loving myself unconditionally and owning that, yeah, I maybe had a role in that, but he's misinterpreting what I said and how I said it. That's his problem, not my problem.
Mhm.
So that's again up leveling so that you don't have to deal with that sort of crisis anymore because you've done the inner work of the trauma that allowed that to show up in your life. So really, it's sort of interesting. We're really burning through karma is what we're doing, right? It's like we set this whole life up to have certain experiences, to learn certain things, and we ordered it. It's like pizza. It's like we ordered pizza for the rest of our life, and it's going to be delivered whether we want it or not. Really, what we're left with is if we have unlimited pizza that's ordered, then the choice is how do we accept it? Oh, I don't like that pizza. That pizza is really yucky. I'm going to really get angry about that pizza. And I'm going to throw it in the dump, or I'm going to throw it back at the person. Do you see what I'm getting at? It's really our reaction to
Yeah,
what's showing up in our life that what we're
that's
left with.
that took me a while to like figure out that everything that comes forward to me is something that I've manifested for myself. And that when I started to take responsibility for what was being presented to me, then the healing really started. And it's interesting to like watch it come forward and then watch it fall away with effortless ease, with no like,
Right? Oh, yeah,
like whoosh. And it's like, okay, okay, bye.
yeah,
Hey, bye. Hey, bye. It's interesting.
yeah. That's what's being witnessed, and of course, the question of who is the one that's having the trauma? Who's the one that's having an experience? Is it your higher self? No, if you're already one with God and already one with everything, then that part of you can't freak out. It's only the ego that says, "Oh, you're hurting my ego," or "I need to control this," or "I have a fear about this," or "Oh, you're pushing my buttons," or whatever the story is, and you get caught on the story, thinking that you are your ego. Well, if you want to be your ego, you're going to have a really good roller coaster ride. If you like the ups and downs right now and you want to feel all those emotions. Now, the thing is, if you do feel those emotions, for God's sakes, don't bury them. I mean, feel them,
Feel them. Yep.
feel them.
Flow
But the thing is, like Laura
through.
says, don't get
Flow.
attached to them. Just let them flow through you
I've
and
worked with
anchor them.
clients. I've worked with clients, and I'll say I can watch it. That'll well up in the person, and they'll like want to start crying. I'll be like, "Don't you cry. You let that go. Come on, let it flow. Just let it
Oh,
go.
you're really being
It's not yours. It's not yours to feel because it's other people's stuff." And then they were like, "Oh, now I get it. I see what you're saying."
Ah, you forgot the first thing, which is the question is this mine or somebody else's?
Right.
If it
And
is
that's what I'm
yours,
talking
feel
about.
it. Feel it,
Right.
but let it go. If it's not
Yeah.
yours, you don't even need to feel it, just let it
If
go.
somebody comes up in your face and they're like, you're like horrible, and this person would be like, and just break down. I'm like, you're just taking on their energy. Just
Right.
let it flow, breathe through it, let it flow through you. It's theirs. Let it go down and out and let Mother Earth have it. And now they can stand strong within their own temple and look at the other person and be like, interesting.
I
Okay.
thought you meant as an empath, we're feeling so much. We're feeling the pain of all of the humans that are going through this COVID-19 experience about the pros and cons,
Mhm,
or whether it's conspiracy, not conspiracy.
mhm.
People that you love are dying all around you. You don't have a job. All this stuff is going on. And you're feeling that somehow you're responsible for it. And in one level you are, but if you get emotionally wrapped up in it, you go into overload and you get stressed, duress, and
And that's and that's what
disorder
we're
and
talking
disease.
about. To feel
So
it, to let it flow
yeah,
through without attaching to it.
well, that was the first thing that we were talking about is the question, is this yours?
Yeah.
Or is this society's, or this
Mhm.
your lineage, or is this your Aunt Martha, or whatever, right? And it's not you, then you don't process it in the same way. It doesn't need to go through you. You can let it go.
How do
I
you
mean, it
know?
goes through you, but it's easier to deal with, is what I'm trying to say. You don't have to
Mhm.
process it in the same way.
But what's yours and what's theirs? How do you figure that out?
You need to douse.
Okay. Yep.
You need
Well,
to douse.
okay.
Because as an empath, everything is yours. There's no boundary. If there's no
That's right.
boundary, then everything is yours, right? Now,
Mhm.
the irony of this is when you go to your higher self, and you're one with everything. Everything is yours. If you're the Bodhisattva, all of everything that's happening on the planet, you're responsible for, but it's a different way
Yes.
of being responsible. It's the way that Laura's talking about. It's not a cold detachment. It's a human, open-hearted attachment of benevolent love for the agony that individual and collective humans are going through. And you know that if they became the Buddha or they came into their true nature, that they would cease to struggle, right? And it's only their lower selves that's going through this pain and suffering because they're identifying their body and their ego as who they are. That's not who they are. That's their human experience that they are. If they're attached to that, they're in trauma and drama, right? One life after another. If they're in their true nature or in their higher selves, they're the observer. And they said, well, who's having the pain? Who's having the suffering? You know, what does the ego want? Why is it getting attached to that whole problem? You know, that's not the true self.
Do you know what I just got?
What?
So all of these years, I've always been probably like 6 months ahead of people, 3 months ahead of people, where I'll experience something and then it will then come through for every, like, the mass, right? And I just got it. What you and I are going through right now is coming. This is what's coming.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's what Unity says too. I don't know if you ever listened to her message. She says, "I'm climbing the wall, and I'm on just about a 3 or 4 handholds ahead of everybody else. So I'm sort of
Yeah.
like
Yep.
giving you what's coming,
Yep.
and she's further ahead than I am. There's no doubt about it. I mean, she's really cosmic in the sense that she understands the cosmic pattern, say,
Mhm.
taking the 64 I Ching transmutations, right, of how that flows, which is a universal cycle. She knows exactly where we are in that cycle. Other people know exactly where they are in the Mayan cycle, so they know where they are and where they're going. Or like with Corey, she knows where she is in the moon cycle, and she knows where she's going, right, or what's showing up. And you can do that both for yourself and you can do it for the collective. And so that's having that precognition of where we're going by living it through ourselves. So this is the exciting thing about when we talked about the whole idea of cosmic consciousness, that there's certain incarnations that are happening with these rainbow children,
Yeah.
and all these dark children, and they are the precursor of where we're going as a civilization, right? That's why we want to listen to them, make it a nice place for them to be, because they're showing us the way that we're going to be telepathically communicating with each other, and having those gifts will be a normal evolutionary step that the baby will go through, maybe in the first 9 months or 6 months, or maybe at some point in the future they'll do all that that learning in the womb even before they're born. So think about this. When you started off doing the deep clearing protocol, you had to
Mhm.
do the whole thing, right? And then after you did the whole thing, you can do the short one. After you do the short one, you can put your hand on your heart and say clear, right? Now
Mhm.
you can just think of clear and it's clearing. Well, it's just the same thing. You're taking a body of information that's gigantic and you're squishing it down into one word because it's running in the subconscious. So
Mhm.
wouldn't it be amazing if that knowledge, that ability to do it, was already in the womb with the child? The child knew basically how to clear. In other words, it just wasn't even part of their field, because
Mhm.
humanity had already knew how to clear its field from all extraterrestrial, all government interference. It was totally sovereign. That
Mhm.
baby would be born with that knowledge of being sovereign and wouldn't need to clear, because we had done the preconditions through the parents knowing this, that the child would already inherit that. This is the evolution of consciousness, right? This is
So
cosmic consciousness.
if we ask, right, then I always receive, right? So if we were to do the deep cleaning protocol for the entire planet, and then eventually just let clear, 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 and wouldn't the same thing happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's hundreds, probably thousands, maybe tens of thousands of groups that are working on the collective consciousness on planet Earth, right? By doing meditation, doing group work, 12 around one, my Wednesday and Sunday meditations with Divine Mother, we're clearing the planet of trauma. We're doing all of that. I mean, the work with the radical earth heart resonance is clearing the nexus point where the energy is blocked on the earth and releasing the trauma there, which then flows through the whole, bioregion, flows through the landscape. It makes all the linkages through the ley lines to Washington, D.C., even goes back in time to the founding of America. So it's not one dimensional. It's not linear past, present, future. It's multi-dimensional when you
Yeah.
do this work.
Yeah.
It's extremely exciting. Like I'm getting shivers up my spine. We're being taught what it is to be multi-dimensional, transhuman, trans-cultural stewards, healers.
Yeah.
We're learning how to do this. And when we do it, it's like when we clear this planet, we're clearing the solar system. I mean, from what I'm reading and understanding guidance, we say that the earth is not the center of the universe. We say that we're going around the sun, but in actual fact, cosmologically, in the evolution of consciousness, this is a key point. This is really where the resolution of light and dark in the union, the synthesis is occurring. This will have huge effects on the multiverse. This is not just a little planet Earth, right? And so this is something to remember. Like when we clear our own lineage, we've talked about this before, it goes back 6 generations forward, 64,500 souls when we do our work that get cleared. So when we do this collectively, can you imagine, and if we've had 60,000 kalpas or incarnations and you multiply that by 64,500, we're already into the billions and the trillions, just as an individual reincarnating, doing this work and showing up as a planetary change agent, lifetime after lifetime, becoming a bodhisattva. We're doing this work. And when bodhisattva and bodhisattva come together, think of the multiplying effect. So now we're getting to the 100th monkey, where the change and transformation of the planet is an inevitable. It's a foregone conclusion.
Right.
And as Michael says, there's no defense against love. When you're coming from your heart and pure divine love, right? And you're abiding by the law of one, which is do no harm, the most benevolent comfort. Humanity, or the universe for that matter, or all of life forms, you're going to win the day. And you don't even have to go to war, because that consciousness will trump anything, Mr. Trump or any of his minions. Will get trumped. It's just the way it is. It's the vibration. The strongest vibration wins.
Remember that as this change occurs, that all that was dark is going to be made to light, right? So that's happening. We're watching it. You can see it everywhere. It's happening. There's also all of this exchange of light now coming in too, so you can see all the good that's happening as well, right?
Yeah, the one light, one candle illuminates the darkness. And right now we're having the truth will be revealed according to the Mayan calendar. We're in the stage where the truth will be revealed. There is no shadows. There's nowhere to hide. If you're doing satanic ritual and you're doing child abuse and all, you will be exposed. There's a foregone conclusion. There's no, like I say, there is no defense against love. And as we wake up to that, then that whole momentum is forwarded by the Mother Earth, Divine Mother. The whole evolution of the universe is one with that. It's like nested energies all the way up. And how are you, as any individual, I don't care what ritual you do, how are you going to stop that flow of energy? It's impossible, right? It's like trying to get into the water and turn a whale around. It ain't going to happen, right?
Well, they're trying though, right? They're trying.
Sure, they're going to try. I mean, why?
With the COVID and with the.
But isn't that's just part of that, of what we're talking about, of having certain things show up in our own personal lives to wake us up. This is showing up in our personal collective lives because we ask to be woken up. So how else can we be woken up unless there's some sort of global event that says, well, wait a minute, you're telling me to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, but A, B, C, D, E, F, and G don't even ring true. I know they're not true. I need to do my research. All of a sudden now, what you took as reality and accepted it over here is dissipating because you can't trust it anymore. So now that's what I'm saying. There's sand
Mhm.
underneath our feet. It's all like just crumbling. The whole
Mhm.
facade about what is government and who's who and what zoo in the zoo and the fantasy of Hollywood is all collapsing.
And doesn't it feel like, did you ever see the movie Zeitgeist? And
Yes,
there was
absolutely.
the second one, where he has that place where we're all communed as one, and none of us are working, but we're all doing what we're supposed to be doing, and there's no worry of money or um anything. It's what you how do you say that? Euphoria, not euphoria, but um
Bliss. Call it
yeah,
bliss.
yeah. And I can't really think of the word, darn it. But it's a place where we can all then do our work, what we came here to actually do, and not have to worry about money and like where we're gonna live,
Oh, think
food
of
and
the indigenous people. I mean, think of the First Nations. Yeah, they went and hunted buffalo, but they weren't hunting buffalo 24/7, 365. One buffalo is going to take that tribe and keep them fed for quite a long period of time. The point I'm trying to say is they had far more time to meditate or regurgitate or philosophize or just be,
Mhm.
all of the indigenous people never worked hard. What's this working? It's just being one. You need to have an animal, you communicate with that animal, the animal spirit says, all right, I will surrender because I can do my evolution through you. We're going to meet at such and such a time. The act is done, the ritual is done, the thanking of the animal, the sacrifice, they take all the skin, everything from the animal, they process, they use it, and then they dance, they sing, they have fun. It's not like we have to go back to work, right? And make buttons or whatever, or punch the clock.
Utopia. Thank you, utopian. Thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's exactly it. The utopian um community. Yes, that's
Yeah, this is heaven on earth, it says in the Bible, right?
yeah, where the lion and the lamb lay together because
Right. And think of the lions.
there's
Think of
nothing
the
to
lion.
fight.
Think
Right.
of the lion. It goes out there. Yes, it has a kill, but it's not hunting 24/7. If you look at the lions as a
Mhm.
pride, they're sleeping all during the hunt of the day, right? They're
And
like the Mexicans. They know what a siesta is all about, right? There's no point in even beginning to think of
so
working in the
true.
hot. You take a siesta. Do
Yeah.
us North Americans take a siesta? No, we get guilty. Got to have a brand new hammock out there. I've been in it once. You know, we
Oh,
just
come on now. Get out there.
no, but I'm just saying
You're
our
typical
natural
American.
propensity is we believe because of our culture and our Protestant work ethic that if we're not doing, we are not achieving, which is wrong.
Now,
I mean,
now
our
I put up on Facebook this morning, if God could grant you one wish, what would you wish for? And I'm not kidding. Everyone who did this says, like Michael, thank you, Michael, said that all people would have all that they need. People are saying like peace and love for everyone. For my son to find inner peace and happiness, peace for everyone's hearts, for us to come together as a planet and pool our research and technology. Total anarchy, we're totally responsible for actions, and I don't know what that is.
no,
Um,
anarchy is that we don't need government.
oh, right.
True anarchy is that we are self-governing. The
But
beauty of this is that we
that,
already know in the heart of our heart what it is that
yes.
we want as humans. It's not something we need to be pondering about. We already know, right? And we already know in our heart of heart that
Mhm,
it ain't working properly. We've all known this since we were
mhm.
kids. So here's the opportunity to actually manifest it into reality. And you say, well,
Oh,
how
we
do you
are.
do that? All you have to do is handle what's in front of you, not get into fear, doubt, shame, or guilt. Do the deep clearing, stand in your truth, watch the world unfold around you. Don't get swept away by everything falling apart around you.
Yep.
Stand in your truth and watch the magic happen, right? You got
And
a
it's
front
happening.
row seat. This is better than any
I mean,
basketball game on the
yeah,
planet. Just watch it, right? Just
we
watch it.
are on the evolution, the ebb of another evolution of a quantum leap.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're on the edge of it. People, hold on to your seats because here we go.
And the exciting thing is even if you crash as a, like there's a second order change, there's always either can collapse and, and the collapsing into oneness, it looks on it like when it's collapsing that all hell is breaking loose, and it is. And
It
if you
is.
get attached to that, it's scary. But the oneness that comes out of that is beyond anything you could ever dream about. I mean, all of our things are conceiving what love and brotherhood and all the rest of what people are
Yeah.
saying on their posts is beyond anything you could imagine. What we're going to, it's beyond our wildest imagination. That's the exciting part about it. So just hang on to your, put your seatbelt on, buckle up, right? Maybe with the straps this way too, like it's a Formula One racing car, right?
Yeah, we
You're
don't know.
you're in
We
for a
don't know
ride.
what's going to manifest from this, but let's go. Let's do it.
Let's
I'm
do it.
ready. I'm ready.
Yeah,
Unless it's already occurred for us, Tyson,
right.
which
Well, maybe it is. I mean, there could be a bifurcation where one part. I mean, nothing gets lost in this. I mean, nobody gets out of this alive, right? Nobody gets out of this alive. As a human, you're bound to die.
oh
Right?
yeah.
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 So nobody gets out of life. So nobody wins and nobody loses. We, whether on the side of good or bad or right or wrong or yin or yang or whatever, we're all going to croak, right? It's just the game. Like, don't take this so friggin' serious. And if you're a soul, you're going to incarnate, if you're not done with learning all these lessons, you're going to incarnate into another body. So don't get attached to this body is the one and only chance and I have to make it all right. And yes, do the
Mhm.
best you can, but this is just one more kick at the can, right? If you don't get it right, you're going to incarnate again. And even as a planet, hey, we don't get it right. We just get regressed like 12,500 years back to the Stone Age. And guess what? We get to do this all over again. Personally, I don't want to be on that ship. That's not the form of planet Earth I want to be,
Yeah.
voyaging on. I want to be on the fifth dimensional or the
Mhm.
new Earth or whatever you want to call it, which means I got to raise my consciousness to match that energy of the new Earth, or I'm not going to be on board that ship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just that simple. It's
Yeah.
all an energy match, right? It's
Yeah.
all pure energy. Where are you on the flow of energy? And wherever your energy is, that's where you get to play. So down here it's hell, up here it's heaven. And yes, the whole thing about being a bodhisattva is even if there's heaven and hell, your job is to bring everybody to equality. Nobody gets lost in this, right? Nobody. Even the worst son
Nobody
of a
gets
bitch on
left
the planet.
behind, as they say.
What's that?
Nobody gets left behind, as they say.
That's right. Nobody gets left behind.
There's no fear in this. And guess what? We live, we die, and in the middle, we just try. We just try. That's all. We're just here to try and get it through it, do what we need to do, and then we're going to die. So why are we so afraid of dying? Why are we so afraid of getting sick? Why are we so afraid of it? Because it's selfish. It's like, I don't want to lose that person. I don't want to leave this person. I don't want to leave here. But yet, like so many people are like, I hate work. I don't know what to do. What are you doing?
Well, the beauty of that, if you don't like is change it. I mean, that's what the whole
Right.
decluttering protocol is all about. It's you're the master of your life. Become a sovereign human being. You have the wand to create the world that you want. And if you don't create it, then there's some trauma, there's some unresolved conflict. I'm talking to myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the way of manifesting. Well, other people would say, well, yes, but you've incarnated with a certain agenda and you can't change that agenda. You can't, you've already made these decisions before you incarnate. Well, okay. And if you did that, and let's say that's true, then there's nowhere to go and nothing to do. You just deal with what shows up because you can't really improve the game. You can play the game with more finesse, with more joy, but you can't change the game. So if you think you're going to change the game, you have to go back and renegotiate your contract at the soul level. I don't know very many people that know how to do that. And when they do that, they have 2 or 3 scenarios that are run and say, well, these are the 3 scenarios that you had presented at the soul level. This is the scenario you chose, and here's the other 2 ones. What do you think? And invariably the person will say, I think I made the right choice, right?
Right. I'm just right here. Yeah.
I'll just go back to where I was, right? Thank you very much. And I think that's what happens in the near-death experience, You have this whole life review, and you go and see what you've accomplished, and you realize how you're going to have to wait for a new incarnation, and you think, holy shit, there's things I could have got done here that I didn't do, and I can still see the opportunities because of my karmic agenda that I have. Okay, I'm going to make the choice to come back or reincarnate in that body rather than leave it and continue on. right?
Wow.
That's a near-death experience. And usually that smartens somebody up. Usually when they come back from near-death experience, they have a consciousness that is like humongous, right? They know how to heal
Sometimes
people.
go through that depressive state too, because they're like, oh, heaven was so great, I want to be back there. So they'll go through a little bit of the depression state, and then they'll go back. That's what I've seen too, is then they'll go into that, oh, okay, now I get what life is about, and I'm not afraid to die. How many of you heard that too? Now I'm not afraid to die since I've been there. Now there's nothing to fear, which there's not. So stop trying to like save yourself. And if you're destined to die, I promise you, that's when it's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen. Yeah.
There's no
So
mask, there's no vaccine, there's nothing that's going to save you, darling. Nothing.
Yeah. So isn't it strange that if we predetermine what it is that we want to accomplish in this life, and if we spend all of our life fighting against the deck of cards because we don't like what's been dealt to us, then we're making it into a human struggle from the ego that we don't like what's happening in our lives. If we surrender it,
Great.
literally we could have multiple parallel lives in this lifetime. What do I mean? I mean that if these are multiple timelines and I choose this vibrational frequency, I have this timeline, right?
Yeah.
Or if I have a near-death experience, I can grab another lifeline coming in at a higher level and continue on. Or in this lifetime, I can say, oh, I don't like this one anymore. I'll choose this one. So what I'm saying is karmically, you can upgrade yourself. Yes, you had a predetermined agenda, but it doesn't mean you can't jump levels. That's what I believe in my reality.
And so now when you look at it, 6 years to total health is not that long.
No.
Am I correct?
Right.
Because that just brings us back to the beginning.
Yeah, to Dr. Wilson. And we didn't even talk about multiple souls, but we did talk about one soul, and that's us right here in this incarnation, what we can do about it.
So we have promo Thursday, and tomorrow we have Carla coming in.
Yeah, we do.
For our weekly empath forecast. We love our Carla, so it's exciting. And then what's happening in August? Should we tell our listeners?
Well, we haven't figured that out yet, so we can't. We're looking at possibilities in August about what we're going to do with the show, because we want to do a hiatus for a while. And so we're thinking of various things. We're going to either run the best of the best, or we're going to give you some look at some of the master dowsers and run those for you. So we do a series of master dowsers and their approach to dowsing. Or we may just shut it all down and come back on September. We haven't made these decisions. So if any one of those just like really rings your bell and you say, oh, I want that one, then send Laura a note and say, hey, I vote for this. And this is your show. Yeah, we have fun talking to each other, but we're hoping it's useful, and we want to be in service to you. This is not just us having a good time. And,
well,
and by the way, it happens to be expensive. So we want to make sure that you're getting what you want, right?
Right. And, I just thought about this too. Usually this time of year, the parents are super busy because kids are going back to school. Yeah. But at least in my area, the kids aren't going back to school. So we're going to have plenty of time to relax, hang in your hammock, put your toes in the lake, relax a little bit.
Yeah, enjoy life. Because you can't get it wrong, even if you try it hard. You can make it more difficult, but you can't get it wrong.
Can't get it wrong.
So yeah, so this has been the show. We're nearly at the top of the hour, but we could probably squeeze in one person if they were brave enough to phone and do a little clearing. That's what people would like. We have somebody in the chat. Did you catch up with all the chats? But let's talk about Promo Thursday. So if you're in the Dowsing and Energy Healing Closed Facebook group and you've been contributing and you want to promote yourself or your best buddy and what they can bring to the group, like in healing or understanding of certain things, then you can post it. This is the only day of the week that you can do that. So every Thursday I go in and look at all the posts that I've saved for the week. I post them and I put promo, hashtag promo, PROMO, THRURS, promo Thursday underneath, so people know that that's a promo one, right? And some of them are really quite interesting, so check them out, right? But it just lets you know that that's not Laura and I marketing ourselves or talking about how we can help you get there. It's other people offering you their services, which we appreciate, especially if they've been participating in the group. And
Right.
we're about somewhere close to less than 50 people to reaching 4,000 members. So
Wow.
if you would like to invite your buddies, which you can invite your buddies, go over there and put them in
Mhm.
a list and introduce them to the Dowsing and Energy Healing Closed Facebook group. You can invite them in, and I'll see that you invited them, and I'll give you a big thank you.
How are
And
we doing? How are we doing on the Wellness Academy?
we're just over 500 on our way to 600. No, I
Aw-
mean, in the Wellness Academy, we're about 5,300. But in the wellness show, where you can watch all the shows afterwards, right? If you miss the show, in
Yep.
the wellness show itself, we're at 500. And that's a closed group. But the nice thing is you come and find them all there. You can also find them on YouTube. And don't forget, if you're traveling, you can download the podcast from iTunes or from Spotify. Just put in the wellness show, download your episodes that you haven't had time to listen to, take them with you, plug them into your into your radio on your car, or put them on your or on your cell phone, and
Mhm.
listen to the show while you're on vacation, or
And
listen
clear
or when
your
you're in the hammock.
cabin or your hotel room or
Right.
whatever it is that you need done. We'll be right there with you.
Yeah, we'll take you along with us. And if you say, hey, that was a good thing, I'm going to phone in next week and get them what's for, then
Right.
feel free to do that. Okay. Remember, this is your show. We want to be in service to you. So what would you like to hear from us? All right.
Let us
We
know.
are at the top of the hour and we're going to say goodbye, but don't forget tomorrow, Carla and the empaths report what's up on planet Earth. What can us empaths expect to be happening?
For the next
Mm.
week. Join us tomorrow.
All
Bye.
right. Bye for now.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.